has it that our new New York-style pizza is Domino's best pizza yet. Made with our fresh, never-frozen dough that's stretched thin and cut into 6 foldable slices. Rumor also has it that you might have to fight over the last slice. Order Domino's New York-style tonight and see for yourself.
Work. Play. Blink. Relief. Work. Play. Blink. Relief.
The only 3-in-1 extended relief formula for dry eyes.
Blink.
Tomorrow on ET Only, we're with Kerry Washington breaking scandal news.
When Tony Goldwyn tells me to do something, usually the answer is yes.
Now, before we go, Joey King isn't afraid to admit she's obsessed with her movie mama Nicole Kidman's viral ad.
We come to AMC theaters to laugh.
To laugh. To cry. To care.
And last night on The Tonight Show, Joey doubled down. Good night, everybody. Bye-bye.
Happening now.
After seeing a few storms push across the San Antonio area this afternoon, we'll have the latest check at your authority radar, plus your forecast into Wednesday coming up in a bit.
The Bear County Sheriff's Office is beefing up security at the courthouse. We'll let you know what those changes are coming up.
Plus, how the uncertainty around President Joe Biden's run for re-election is affecting Donald Trump's pick for a running mate. The News at 5 starts right now. And as those storms have moved through San Antonio, we're starting with thousands of people who are without power right now.
Yeah, according to CPS Energy's outage map, more than 5,000 people without power right now. The majority of those in the path of that windy storm that went through the area a little more than an hour ago. Didn't hit downtown, though, I want to mention. Let's get right to Mia Montgomery, who's tracking these storms. Mia.
Yep, they were not severe here in San Antonio, but they did contain some wind gusts in the range of about 40 to 50 miles per hour. So that's why we have seen a few of those power outages out there this Tuesday afternoon. You can see the bulk of that storm activity has now exited the San Antonio area. Still some light rain, though, for places like Windcrest, Garden Ridge, and even up to Bulverde. This particular storm moving right along I-10 in Guadalupe County was actually severe warned about 30 minutes ago for the potential to see some wind gusts upwards of 60 miles per hour. But that storm is starting to weaken, so that warning has been canceled. Still, though, some heavy rain near Seguin as well as Geronimo, and some wind gusts in the range of about 30 to 40 miles per hour. You see this green line that's working its way farther eastward, approaching the city of Gonzales. That's actually that rain-cooled air coming out of that thunderstorm. So expect winds to pick up in Gonzales County over the next 30 to 45 minutes. Other than that, we have a few more non-severe showers and storms pushing across our far southwestern counties, approaching the I-35 corridor. Overall, this activity will start to wind down through the remainder of the evening. Another isolated chance in storm tomorrow. We'll have a full look at that coming up in just a few, Steve.
All right, thank you, Mia. To another outage happening right now. Spectrum Cable says they have an outage affecting customers across the state of Texas.
Yeah, we've heard a lot about this afternoon, so let's take a look at that current outage map. Just in San Antonio alone, over 13,000 outages have been reported. That includes internet, phone, and cable. The company said on social media today they're aware of the problem and they're working to fix it. There's no confirmation whether the outage has anything to do with Hurricane Beryl hitting Texas yesterday. Now, one of the problems with this outage is being unable to call 911. The Bexar County Sheriff's Office says that if you have phone service through Spectrum, you cannot call 911. The Sheriff's Office says they're sharing any update as soon as they get it.
And although Beryl is no longer a tropical storm, the remnants of it are bringing flash flooding and tornado threats now to part of the Midwest before making its way north. That storm left widespread damage in Houston, including to the roof at NRG Stadium. Sadly, at least 6 people killed in that storm, either by falling trees or drowning. Lastly, that storm has left millions of customers still without power at this hour.
And because of those power outages, CPS Energy is sending 60 people to the Houston area to help out with hurricane relief, cleaning things up there, and getting the power back on.
There's about 2.2 million customers in Houston that are out of power. And so CenterPoint Energy asked for our assistance, and we're happy to send our folks to go help them.
CPS Energy tells us there is no timeline set for how long those local crews will be in Houston.
To the courthouse now, and the Bexar County Sheriff's Office says they are stepping up security at the courthouse after several recent fights, outbursts, even an inmate escape. Look at some of this video.
Yeah, Erica Hernandez reports that some of those changes are already in place after this.
By
fights in the courtroom as defendants sit in the jury box. People in the gallery detained for outbursts. And defendants on trial attacking bailiffs. Incidents at the Justice Center have happened over and over again. Most recently, this man was able to temporarily escape after being arrested on a felony warrant. The Beryl County Sheriff's Office told KSAT 12 increased security protocols are now in place. Some of the changes include increased training for bailiffs, conducting courtroom security assessments, modified tactics for high-profile trials, and revising the list of prohibited items at the courthouse. We've also noticed some courtroom chairs zip-tied to benches. Another change you'll see inside the courtroom is that no one is allowed to sit in the front row, and oftentimes victim impact statements will be given from right here instead of in the gallery. In the past, when an incident has happened, deputies have called for help over body-worn radios. BCSO says it is developing a quicker response to emergencies. Erica Hernandez, KSAT 12 News.
It's an angle we haven't spent a lot of time on when it comes to possible direct flights from San Antonio to Washington, D.C.'s Reagan Airport. The military impact. San Antonio hosts the largest joint base in the Department of Defense. Joint Base San Antonio employs 82,000 active duty members and civilians. Many of those positions connect with leaders located in Washington, D.C. So a whole lot of money and effort is being spent on that travel currently.
Alone, with the military connections that are made each day between SAT and DCA, our military and its partners would save over 500,000 man-hours each year.
Tonight at 6, we're going to talk about how this would also affect veterans and what you can do now to make this flight a reality. The former President Donald Trump preparing to announce his running mate, but uncertainty around President Joe Biden's re-election bid may be playing a role in who Trump picks.
Our Washington correspondent Julia Benbrook explains why.
Former President Donald Trump is entering a critical stretch of his presidential campaign, preparing to hold several rallies, kick off the Republican National Convention, and select a running mate.
I haven't made final decision, but I have some ideas as to where we're going.
Trump's summer plans have been overshadowed by the dramatic fallout over President Joe Biden's lackluster debate performance last month. And with lots of uncertainty on the other side of the ticket, Trump's campaign is trying to navigate how to maximize the rollout of his vice presidential pick.
We wanted to see what they're doing, to be honest, because, it might make a difference. I don't know.
Trump's search for a running mate has primarily focused on 3 names: Florida Senator Marco Rubio, Ohio Senator J.D. Vance, and North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum. Though Trump once measured his potential picks by how they might stack up against Vice President Kamala Harris in a one-on-one debate, some Trump allies emphasize that those calculations would change if she's elevated to the top of the Democratic ticket.
If Biden steps down, Harris is going to have to pick somebody to help her. If she does become the nominee, this is a dramatically different race than it is right now today.
Despite calls from within the Democratic Party to step away, Biden says he is committed to staying in the race.
Trump's campaign views Monday, July 15th, the opening day of the Republican National Convention in Milwaukee, as the deadline to present his vice presidential choice. With party business scheduled for the morning, the announcement could take place right before the official nomination. Reporting at the White House, I'm Julia Benbrook.
Check out traffic right now with your Trans Guide at I-35 at Space Center, and you can see looks like a stalled vehicle, maybe an accident there into the barricades, actually. Just see a few of them maybe down in the median there, those yellow sand-filled barricades there. And it looks like that's slowing traffic down. Again, this is I-35 at Space Center.
A San Antonio man finds sexually explicit text messages on his wife's phone sent between her and a San Antonio police officer.
Arturo Cisneros was arrested by SAPD at his home for domestic violence after trying to report the affair between his wife and Officer Mark Castillo. Here's Dylan Collier with KSAT Investigates.
I was in shock.
Cisneros says he locked himself in a bedroom to read all of the messages while his wife pounded on the door, demanding her phone back. According to SAPD records, Cisneros later called 911 and said his wife hit herself before taking off. The report states the wife returned and asked police to look at her face, which had a large bruised knot on the right side of her forehead. She attributed the injury to Cisneros punching her in the eye and forehead. Reached for comment, the woman told KSAT she had not asked police to look at her face and that the report was, quote, wrong and inaccurate. Cisneros told KSAT he did not hit his wife.
There was no physical altercation.
Still, officers believe they had enough to arrest Cisneros for misdemeanor family violence. The incident report, it's worth noting, makes no mention of Castillo, even though that was Cisneros' sole reason for calling police in the first place.
The report itself, it lacks so many details. So many details.
Cisneros' sister-in-law took pictures of his wife's messages with Castillo and told KSAT she later provided them and the phone itself to SAPD Internal Affairs.
It's all about protect, serve, do the job that you're assigned to do, nothing else.
A review of the messages by KSAT shows many of them were sent during Castillo's assigned work hours, Monday through Thursday, between 7 a.m. and 5 p.m., and while the officer was in close proximity to McManus. Castillo writing to Cisneros' wife at one point, expletive, wanted to touch her legs. After she replied, "You still can, I'm headed over there now," Castillo responded, "I'm still with Chief, but he might be done soon." Or this exchange, in which Castillo described a sex act with her, told her to make sure she erased the messages, and then revealed that McManus was about to walk out. SAPD officials refused to make Chief McManus available for an interview for this story, stating the complaint against Castillo is being investigated and that the department cannot comment on media inquiries that have not resulted in discipline.
Tonight on the Night Beat, KSAT investigates how Cisneros' call to 911 could have serious legal consequences for him and how Officer Castillo is not the first member of the chief's security detail to be accused of inappropriate sexual behavior while in uniform. You can also find this story and our full investigation by heading to KSAT.com.
Still ahead here, a new playground just opened up in San Antonio, and this one is different. It's for kids of all abilities. We'll tell you all about it coming up.
The Plus new research shows tampons may be exposing women to certain kinds of metals. What the study found after the break.
Coming up today on the news at 6 o'clock, for the first time, we're hearing from a man who was shot at Market Square during the final night of Fiesta.
It's just the worst thing that's happened to me. And I got to live with it for the rest of my life.
That's Adam Jaramillo. He's one of 5 people who injured during that shooting at Market Square. The bullet still lodged in his thigh. And now he blames the city. We'll tell you what he believes should have happened before that shooting. Plus, relatives of a man who was shot and killed on the job this week say his death makes no sense. We'll tell you what they say led to the deadly violence. And stuffed to near capacity, the Bexar County Jail has been sending inmates out to other counties to have them be housed there. Why the sheriff says that's unlikely to stop anytime soon. That more today on the news at 6. Some new research shows that tampons could be exposing women to toxic metals, including arsenic and lead. Researchers analyzed 30 tampons from 14 tampon brands in the U.S. and the U.K. The samples included both organic and non-organic products. All of them were found to have measurable concentrations of at least 16 different metals. They say that more research, though, is needed to determine whether those metals can affect your health. A new playground is now open for kids and families on the city's south side, and this one's unique.
Yeah, it is. It's named Arnold Park, and it's for kids of all abilities. It's located on Gillette Boulevard by the Ramirez Community Center. According to City Councilwoman Adriana Rocha Garcia, 1 in 7 San Antonians has a disability that makes it hard for them to use normal city parks and playgrounds.
I'm just looking forward to seeing the kids' smiles and just so looking forward to having grandparents and parents come and be able to just relax for a little bit and watch them be kids. Yeah,
this is an extraordinary place to play. This fully accessible playground thanks to multiple organizations, including the City of San Antonio Parks and Rec Department, HEB, and Kaboom, a nationwide effort to end playscape inequity.
Let's take a look outside with live cam this evening. Once again, a tale of the haves and the have-nots when it comes to the rain that moved through, Mia.
Absolutely. So last Saturday, if you remember, we also had some scattered downpours and a few thunderstorms that pushed across portions of Bexar County. That was really localized over the central and southern parts of Bexar County. Today, for folks in the northern portions of San Antonio, we're able to cash in on some of that rain. Take a look at some of these KSAT Connect photos that we have sent in. This one from the northwest part of Stone Oak. It's about 2.5 inches of needed rain in the rain gauge. This one from Timberwood Park, rain total approaching 2 inches. And of course, whenever you do have a lot of rain falling in a short amount of time, it can lead to some minor street flooding. That's something that we saw across those areas over the past couple of hours. But again, rain chances are starting to wind down here in San Antonio, now sandwiched in between two different clusters of spotty rain, one pushing east of I-35 and another approaching from the west. So here's the latest. Again, that storm that we were talking about at the top of the newscast near Seguin in Guadalupe County, that is really fizzling out and weakening. A lot of that heavy rain transitioning to just light to moderate rain. Still do have some heavy downpours near Gonzales, stretching over to the southeastern portions of Wilson and northeastern portions of Karnes County, east of the Highway 181 corridor, and then another cluster of some moderate to at times even heavy rain with a few lightning strikes here and there near places like Uvalde, Pearsall, Dilley, even stretching down to Cotulla as well. We did mention that this dropped multi-inch rainfall totals, especially north of 1604 in Bexar County. That was found near Reagan High School, Stone Oak, stretching up to Timberwood Park, along and west of Highway 281, and some additional localized pockets of 2 inches near La Cantera and the Rim, as well as the Gray Forest area. It was a little bit harder to come by, though, across the southern half of the county. Near Calaveras Lake, though, about 0.4 of an inch from a little downpour that passed through. And thankfully, while we didn't really get any rain from Beryl, we were able to cash in on some of that today. You can see as of the latest drought monitor update, we definitely will take anything that we can get, with moderate drought still in place here in San Antonio, extreme drought across portions of the hill country and even stretching out west closer to the Rio Grande. So where do we go from here? Well, throughout the remainder of the evening, what is left out there on authority radar is going to continue to work farther off to the south, fizzling out for the most part by about 9 p.m. Then as we look ahead to our Wednesday, we have another 30% potential in between the 2 to 8 p.m. window to find a few more isolated downpours, a couple more thunderstorms not completely ruled out before the day is done. Then we'll transition that to a 20% chance by Friday and Saturday. Rain chances really coming down, though, as we look ahead to the back half of the weekend and early next week. If you were wondering, this is the latest on what was Hurricane Beryl, making landfall near Matagorda as a Category 1 hurricane early Monday. Now just a remnant low post-tropical cyclone is what the National Hurricane Center is calling it, as it still sparks some heavy rain across portions of the Midwest, specifically near Indiana. An additional 2 to 5 inches possible as that system continues to work its way closer to the Great Lakes region. Here in San Antonio, take a look at temperatures. Rain-cooled air, 73 degrees here in town, 73 in Canyon Lake, currently 85 over in Bandera. Tomorrow, we're going to start off near 76 here in the Alamo City, partly cloudy skies, 91 at noon, and then a high temperature climbing to about 97. So if you don't find rain tomorrow and over the next several days, which honestly a lot of us aren't going to each and every afternoon, still prepare for more of that summer heat with upper 90s continuing all the way into the weekend.
Yeah, we got some more chances at least. Thanks, Mia.
All right, he goes from foe to friend to point guard.
Yes.
Larry, Chris Paul in town.
Chris Paul's in town. You know what? The Spurs have something that Chris Paul wants. NBA championships, right? That's the only thing Chris Paul is really missing. Yes, joining the Spurs because of Wemby is cool, but he's also all about the Spurs pedigree. And Harrison Barnes reflects on playing for Coach Pop not that long ago. Coming up.
When I came here, it was cool. I got a text from Tim, I got a text from Manu, I got a text from Tony, and it's really cool to be here.
Getting texts from the Big Three, that's awesome. Chris Paul is happy to join the San Antonio Spurs in Big Board Sports. Sunday, the Spurs made it official, announcing the signing of veteran point guard Chris Paul. And today, we got to meet him at the Spurs Victory Capital Performance Center, along with veteran forward Harrison Barnes. Paul was drafted 4th overall in the 2005 draft by the New Orleans Hornets, and he's become one of the best point guards in NBA history. Paul is excited to play for Greg Popovich and thrilled at the chance to join Victor Wembanyama.
Pop and the Spurs definitely probably got the deepest tree in the league. When I say the tree, right, everybody sort of branches off from here and ends up better. And so Victor being here helped too, obviously, and them having a young team and getting a chance to watch him, right? Like I played against him this season, and I tell you, there's probably no player in the league that everybody in the league talks about after the game like him, because everybody has to adjust stuff. Me and Harrison was on our flight yesterday just talking about how cool it's going to be at this point in our careers to get a chance to appreciate him day in and day out. You know, so that definitely helped.
A recently acquired forward, Harrison Barnes, also met with the media today out at the Rock. Barnes was on the 2019 USA FIBA Basketball World Cup team led by Greg Popovich, and Barnes was asked what he remembers about playing for Coach Pop.
Man, great team dinners. But, you know, from just different sayings that he'd have on the court, I mean, the guy is just, you know, he's a basketball encyclopedia. I think he connects with every single player. He talks to every single player differently, and he knows how to connect with them. So I think that's, you know, why me and him kind of hit it off. He's a straight shooter. You know, I like that. So, we were just able to bond that way.
To check out Barnes and Chris Paul's complete pressers from today, please go to the sports page on KSAT.com.
Love it.
Pretty cool.
Team dinners. I'd love to be a part of that.
I know. Well, really?
I figured good wine was probably in there.
Yes.
Definitely. Yeah, with Pop, definitely. We'll be right back.
Another quick look at traffic out here. 281 at San Pedro. You can see the northbound lanes very slow going. That's got traffic backed up on the access road. They're trying to merge onto 281, but no major issues, just slow traffic headed north.
Of our TransGuide cameras earlier, and especially north of 410, there were some soggy spots after these storms kind of pushed through. Roads should be getting better, though, now that that's really moved out of Bexar County. But still, you can see we have some downpours moving across our far eastern counties near Gonzales, stretching over to Karn City. Tomorrow, an isolated chance possible, especially in the afternoon, a high in the upper 90s. More of the same throughout the rest of the week and into the start of the weekend.
All right, thanks, Mia. Before we go, we have some breaking news we're tracking right now. Our KSAT crews are heading to a 2-alarm fire that's at an apartment complex at Wetmore and Thousand Oaks.
Yeah, we are being told that more than 30 fire units are on the scene of that fire right now. Our Avery Everett is on her way. We'll give you a live update from the scene at 6 o'clock. Again, it's the Thousand Oaks and Wetmore area. It is in the Northern Hills area of town, to give you a better idea, not far from Nacogdoches, not far from Wurzbach Parkway there either.
We'll be tracking that. We'll bring you the latest coming up at 6. We'll see you then.